Hello, it's Will again, back at it. Another question, another set of thoughts. I'm wearing a dinosaur jumper today. Thought that would be fun. Hi. Great to see you. I often ask questions to myself here and I explore my answers. Really cool if you're here to have a listen or a watch, whatever, but it's great to have you here. If you got any thoughts, throw them in the chat. So, question for today. What carries you through hard times? That's my question. So what carries me through hard times? That's been a question I've been thinking about a lot past few days, especially given I've had some harder times. So, mainly just because of vomiting and diarrhea in ways I've never had before, that I described a little bit in the last video. So it's kind of a question that's been in my head a lot, like why, what am I doing? Why carry on in this way? What are we trying to do in the brain box when we navigate those hard, harsh experiences? So what carries me through hard times, I guess I would say, is getting back to fundamentals, getting back to basics. What do I need as a human being? Okay, that can help me reorientate, re-anchor, come back to the needs. What the hell do I need? Okay, when things are hard, things should get simple. We should be simpler with ourselves. We should be more straightforward with just how we're thinking. Okay, so just like I described a little bit in the last video, I have a tendency to overthink. But like, what carries me through hard times is like feelings, like strong feelings. This idea that like, I am going to struggle and I'm going to suffer in this time. And like, I might not be able to accept that right now, and that's okay. I think acknowledgement is huge for me personally. Just like, yeah, it sucks. Whatever's happening, it sucks what I'm struggling with. And like being allowed to feel the suckery of that, and all the emotions that come with it, I think something that really carries me through hard times, and I guess the world being as chaotic as it is right now, or as it can feel if you regularly engage with social media, which I unfortunately do more currently than I would say I would like to, is create a bit of distance and an anchor from, I guess, the stresses, if at all possible, right? Like, if you're going through hard times, like, that's not always super possible, right? But, like, where can I carve out time for me to be whatever I feel resonates with me? Again, video I made a while ago about values. What are my values and how can I lean into them in these hard times? Where can I have a little bit of authenticity? Where can I have a little bit of creativity? Where can I have a little bit of curiosity? How can I get that in? There's got to be a way of getting it in somewhere, and if not, then like I've got to like focus on like why I can't do that, like what's getting in the way, what beliefs do I have about myself that say like, no dude, you're not allowed to do this. And also like, you know, what steps and paths could I take to have my needs met? Like, is that a realistic thing I can ask for right now? And even if it isn't realistic, I think like seriously engaging and entertaining with these ideas and thinking like, hey, what do I need? Just saying it to yourself, I think is like really important. I guess something I feel I struggled with a lot was asking for what I needed. And I think that's really important when you're going through hard times. I think it's what pushed me to a lot of crisis moments historically for me, that I couldn't ask for what I needed, or I felt I couldn't, right? And feeling like I can. I think this is one of the reasons I'm like expressing myself more, right? It's like, hey, if I keep my cards on the table at all times, like I'm gonna have this like larger data set that I can draw from of this subjective experience. It's like, hey, this is like what a good time looks like, maybe. Or when you're in a hard time, like what works for me, like just moving, just getting out and moving. But like that doesn't make sense when you have a lot of vomiting and diarrhea and you feel really delicate and low energy. So how do I get that in different ways? For me, sometimes it's just watching an old movie you like, man. Yesterday I watched Rush Hour. I haven't watched that film in years. Chris Tucker, Jackie Chan. It's a lot of fun. 90s cop drama hijinks. I liked it a lot. It was really calming and comforting to just like watch that film, you know? I've not been able to eat vegetables really because I'm concerned about the high fiber content, and like my stomach feels bad most of the time. But like I think for me, I have to like bat in the direction what my values could be in the future or now, to then feel like, hey, like this is gonna resolve and then we're gonna get to a better place. Like I guess I need some hope. That's what I'm trying to like create for myself here. Like what is hope? How do I make hope in my own internal landscape, right? And first of all, to make hope, I feel I have to kind of acknowledge the challenge in front of me so I can have hope out of it. And if I don't do that, then like I can't have hope because I can't even triangulate anything. I can't point in a direction if I don't know where I am, you know? How do I know if I'm going in a useful direction if I don't know where I am? So, you know, I've been thinking a lot about this idea of religion. I think this religion idea, you know, Christianity, of course, Protestant Christianity is like the one I have the most frame of reference with because I grew up in the Church of England primary school. It's been in my cultural background. And I guess there's a degree of hope with that like God is all knowing and all loving, and he cares about you and he wants you to do well and everything like that, and you're in God's big plan and God works in mysterious ways, all that good stuff. And I guess as I've grown, I've really started to understand a bit more like the value in that, I guess, in like how people get a lot of value in that. I guess as I've grown up and experienced hard things, I'm like, man, like regardless of whether or not this stuff's like concretely factually true, like I really see the appeal of like having this kind of spiritual foundational connection, and I think that's really important when getting through hard times. I think having some kind of grounded connection to something, connections are so important for like challenging experiences. I think, you know, when I think about addictions, or I'm a video game addict, which I've made a video about before, like getting through those hard times requires like a connection, right? It requires like something that I can sacrifice for, you know. And the Ayurvedic Sanskrit texts, it would be referred to as dharma, right? Duty. And I think duty is important for like a spiritual health in a way. I think the spiritual health is really important to have this bigger connection, this bigger purpose, because when things get really hard, and they will, that's not an if, that's a when. There's got to be a reason to keep going. There's got to be a reason to suffer. There's got to be a reason to feel a purpose and meaning in all of it, right? And like some might argue that like purpose, there's no such thing as purpose. You know, a nihilist might be like, there's no meaning, there's no point in purposeless, there's nowhere to go. The world is just, it is what it is. We're in a big chaotic arena and we're all just duking it out and hoping for the best. I kind of like that there's no meaning in the world. It means I can create my own. And creating my own meaning through those hard times really helps me go, hey, am I doing it? Am I doing what I feel connects with me and what I care about? And if not, let's further investigate. Let's keep going. Let's see what we can discover and explore. I think that carries me through hard times. You know, honestly, I think my relationships carry me through hard times. My wife is fantastic, and I find it really hard to like rely on my friends a bit more emotionally, but like I'm working on that in like a healthy way that doesn't feel like I'm just dumping all my stuff on them. Because I'm the other extreme where I just don't share anything and then I'm suicidal. So I'm really thinking about like, how can I lean into that a bit more? How can I be connected so when the hard times come, I can suffer, I will suffer with other people, because that's bonding, that's experience. Being human, in my opinion, a huge part of that is like having collective experiences. And there might be a larger point to say we are less connected now because there are fewer and fewer connective experiences in our cultures. But I'm on a hunt. I really want to find commonality with people. I want to connect with people. I want to have shared emotional experiences with other human beings. And I want to feel feelings with them, because that's how I'm going to feel connected. And then when bad stuff comes, I know I can connect. And if I can connect, I can get help. And I can move forward and things can be okay. Because if I have other people, because I'm a social creature, I'm a human, there'll be a path out one way or another. That gives me hope, connection. Whether it's to nature, whether it's to people. I think that's really important. So that's my answer to that question. What carries me through hard times? I would love to hear your thoughts in the chat. You've been cool. I've been Will. Take care, and I will see you in the next one.